McSpedon, sometimes Chris Neverette, but he is not here tonight.
No Chris tonight.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Doing great.
I'm doing good. I was trying to let Bach go first, mix it up a little.
Sounded pretty emphatic. Sounds great.
Hey, it's March Madness time. How could you not be?
It is going on right now, actually.
I'm pulling it up here.
The little bit of a playing game situation tonight. But before we get into any of that, and we will get into a lot of that, we'll all give our predictions for our brackets, so on and so forth. But some news right off the top of the show happened yesterday. The Sabres finally moved on from head coach Ralph Kruger. He was then spotted later at a restaurant drinking a beer with Steve Smith, assistant coach, also fired, so that's big for him. He was, he sucked for what? He was stressed. It was his fault. But yeah, he's finally gone. They play the Bruins tonight. There was a little bit of people thought the game was canceled. Some guy said it was canceled for a Bruins positive test. That's just not the case. The game will go on at 7, and it's the first game post Ralph Kruger. Interesting to see what the lines will be like. Bob, what do you think of them finally pulling the trigger? That 12th straight loss was a franchise record for losses in a row. So you think that's what really kind of did it?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it was kind of overdue. I mean, the Sabres just weren't performing at an NHL level for a long time. And,
yeah, they've been in the bottom for quite some time.
Yeah, and it's good to get the next chapter out there, even though we have a interim head coach right now. We'll see for next season who our next guy will be. Interesting to see. But, yeah, the Sabres aren't really going anywhere this year. At, what's it, 6-18, and I think it's 6-18, but
yeah, something like that. And it's just not good, not where you want to be. Like you said, they're not performing at a level good enough to compete. Clearly, they're probably going to be picking, as it looks now, probably top 3 or 5. So unless they turn things around here, but yeah, it's nice to, like you said, overdue. But it's nice to finally get it done, even though it's only an interim coach for now. It still works. It's still a change. So we'll have to see where it goes from there. Switching sports now to the NFL, free agency has continued. Officially started yesterday, and I say officially yesterday because we talked about on Tuesday that like the tampering period started Monday, but yesterday was the official start. So all those trades that we've been talking about the past couple of weeks officially went through, like Wentz, Matt Stafford, the Stafford golf trade, all that. So everything's official. The new league year started yesterday, and an interesting signing, I thought, Curtis Samuel to the Washington football team. What did he get, like 3 years, $37 million?
3 years, I think it was $34.5 million with incentives or something like that.
It's a lot of money for a guy like him, but
a great weapon for a team like Washington. We talked about it Tuesday, having Ryan Fitzpatrick and the weapons that they already do have. What do you guys think of that move?
I liked it a lot because they got Terry McLaurin, and I believe their number 2 guy on the outside was Sims, and I can't even think of his first name. He wore number 83.
Cam Sims, I believe.
Yeah, that was his name.
Then obviously you have McLaurin, like you said. He's one of the best in the game, very underrated. It'll be interesting to see what they can do with a guy like Fitz, and you add Samuel into that slot, and it's a good fit. Logan Thomas at tight end too, also fantastic. And then the Bills went out and got themselves a backup quarterback today.
Boy, did they ever.
What do you think about that, Justin?
I like the addition. I'm just curious. I was curious to see who's wearing number 10 because we got Jake Fromm wearing it right now, who took it from Cole Beasley, who's now wearing number 11. And we got Emmanuel Sanders, who wore number 10 in Denver.
We're going to have to fight it out. We're going to have to – that's something to keep an eye on for sure. Who will wear the company number 10? But, yeah, no, interesting signing. Good signing. Like, I like Matt Barkley a lot. Seems like a really good guy, but talent wasn't particularly there. And now if something were to happen to Josh Allen, I guess we'd be in better hands. You're not going to be in great hands. No backup quarterback's great. That's why they're backup quarterbacks. But it's decent hands to be in, I guess, because it could be a lot worse. Like, we've seen a lot worse backups.
He's a great backup to have. It's probably the best backup in the NFL now.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably fair to say.
I could definitely make that argument.
And there were a lot of rumors about it actually happening. I didn't really believe, like a lot of people were saying, oh, the Bills should be too risky. I thought maybe he'd go, like I was saying earlier, I thought maybe he'd go to somewhere like a Detroit to back up Goff, who may be on a bit of a short leash, or I don't know. There's just a lot of places. Like he could have went to what did I say earlier? I can't think of right now. Oh,
you were telling me Denver.
Perfect fit because Locke, I do think is still young, and obviously he's still young, and he still could be good. But like a place like Denver, he could sign to be the backup. But like
There's a fair chance he could play.
But I mean, obviously, I would assume that those offers weren't there because he chose to come to Buffalo instead. Had there been those offers, I think he obviously would have went there because it's not gonna. Josh Allen's not gonna get benched for Mr. Trubisky. So like, if I were him, I would have looked for a situation like that. But like I said, obviously that situation was not in there to end up here. But good backup to have, I guess. And then I believe the Chiefs just signed a tackle, Mike Remmers, and we know that they need tackles. They've been doing a lot of offensive line work. They signed Kyle Long yesterday, Joe Tooney the other day, and now they got Mike Remmers playing tackle, so they're kind of revamping that O-line after they cut Schwartz and Eric Fisher. Obviously, those are big moves to be had, and they paid Joe Tooney a lot of money. We talked about that on Tuesday. And then another move that hasn't been made, but was gaining steam, Juju Smith-Schuster to the Jets.
Oh, boy.
But then they just signed Keelan Cole.
Yes.
Slot receiver from Jacksonville.
Keelan Cole, my guy.
$6 million. He's not good, but he's all right. And
Better than Juju, in my opinion.
I mean, Juju's a top 3 slot guy.
I just don't want him on the Jets. Like, it's just, I don't
like him.
I don't want him on the Jets.
I'd take him if the opportunity were there. But yeah, so where do you guys think Juju lands? We kind of talked about it Tuesday. It seemed like the talks with the Jets were heating up, but then, like I said, they went out and got that receiver.
Yes, they did.
Keelan Cole from Jacksonville. So I don't know. What does this mean for Juju now? It seems like this market's a lot slower than I expected anyway.
I'm saying back to Pittsburgh.
I think either Pittsburgh or Vegas.
Sites likes it. Sites clapping in the background.
But, yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense going back to Pittsburgh. I know money's a bit tight there, but they've said that Juju will take a 1-year deal, 1 or 2 year deal, and I feel like Pittsburgh will be able to make that work. Especially, we're looking at the market right now. You still have Galladay out there, and Fuller today got a 1-year deal. Like, these guys are not getting paid, and the market's not moving for them as they would expect. And I think that's a big reason as to why the Jets are showing interest in our friend Juju now, because, well, the price went down, and Joe Douglas, at least from the sense I get of him in his first 2 years as GM, he likes to pounce on a market, and it seems like the market's down, and I think that plays into not only the Jets' favor, but I really think it plays into Pittsburgh's favor because Juju wants to be there, and I think if they can make it work, Juju will choose Pittsburgh over any other place, and I feel like the more time that goes on, the more it's working in Pittsburgh's favor, and I feel like they're going to be able to get something done.
I think so. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you really want to Pittsburgh too, like you said. So I feel like he'll take just about anything to stay there in terms of years, and as long as it's a decent enough money, you could say you could definitely get more elsewhere. But like, I don't know, just seems like a loyal guy to me. I feel like he'd want to stay and take whatever it would take. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys. He just seems like that kind of guy that won't leave, even though he's a free agent. And I mean, it's taken a while, so I could definitely see Pittsburgh just offering him whatever. Maybe another team like a Carolina that already lost a receiver could sign him, but I don't see that happening at this point right now. So yeah, I'd like to see him back in Pittsburgh.
And then you talked about Kenny Galladay. It looks like he wants to play for the Giants. They're trying to work out a deal there, but the Bengals made him an offer last night. What do you think about that?
It was the Bears, right, that he met with last night?
He met with the Bears last night, but the Bengals made him a contract. He met with the Bears today. Bengals offered him a contract yesterday, and he is waiting out his options. We kind of assume AJ Green's role, I guess, but it'd be better. So I mean, they lost Green, went to the Cardinals yesterday. Decent signing. And then, I mean, I don't know, you compare, if he were to accept, you pair him with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and
I like it.
Decent group for young Joe Burrow coming back from the injury, but
they need to get him as much weapons as possible. That's
but without the O-line, he'll still stay.
Yes, unfortunately.
They can get as many guys as they want out there.
But I feel like O-line is going to be a major draft need for them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they're going to spend most of their draft capital on, but I could be wrong.
I'd have to agree with that. But then, yeah, I think it was this afternoon he was meeting with the Bears, which would be interesting because they're a team that just franchise tagged Allen Robinson. But if you sign someone like Galladay, maybe you try to trade Robinson on that tag because he said that right now he has no intentions of signing it, especially after they brought in Andy Dalton. I don't think that's much of enough. We always talk about Allen Robinson not having the best quarterback luck. Nothing against Andy Dalton. I think he's, average, decent, but, like, I don't think that's what Allen Robinson was really hoping for. after they tried to go get Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's his ideal QB.
And then today we had a bit of a breakup. Broncos and Phillip Lindsey.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Where do you think a good spot for Phillip Lindsey would be if you had to pick?
I mean, I'd like the Jets to make a play for him.
Yeah.
We need a running back.
And, I mean, Dolphins too could use another running back. I personally think he's someone the Bills should take a look at. Because
Yeah, I was
It
thinking about
makes
that
sense
too.
for
I wanted Kenyon Drake a lot. He got what, $5.5, $6 million or something. Would have been decent to have, but I don't know. Lindsey's a guy that I'd take a shot at. I don't know how much money he's expecting to get paid on the market. Can't be too much, right?
I don't think it's going to be crazy. No, not overwhelming.
But I mean, he's a guy that I would, pair in there with Moss and Singletary. Well, Singletary would probably be gone. Should they get another running back? But I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I like him as like your receiving back kind of because, I mean, you did pretty good that year, his rookie year when he was undrafted. I believe he made the Pro Bowl that year, so that was really impressive. Then Melvin Gordon comes along, and they both play really well. So he's a really good complement back. I was thinking maybe Cincinnati, but they've always had Giovanni Bernard to take that role. So
It's true. He's been there for what seems like 20 years at this point.
yeah, is James Conner still a free agent?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh, I mean, could go there and be the back.
Yeah, where does someone like James Conner go? That's another interesting guy. I don't really know what his worth really is because he's banged up a bit last year. He was really good, obviously, the year when Lev was out, or when Lev was holding out. And then last year, he kind of had a chance to take over. Didn't live up to the same. I mean, he set the bar very high for himself, but didn't really live up to that. And now he's a free agent. Go wherever he wants. And I honestly have not heard his name once. Well, I mean, it started Monday. It's not like it's been weeks, but I don't know. He's kind of a guy that I forgot about. I don't know.
Same thing with Chris Carson.
Yeah, it's been really quiet with him too.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there's been no movement on Carson.
That's interesting. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good running backs out there to be had. It's just everyone's so tentative about paying running backs now. Like none of those guys will get the top money, obviously. Like Aaron Jones would have on the open market, but he got the money to stay in Green Bay instead. But other than that, like these guys aren't gonna get paid that much. Like maybe Carson would be the highest paid out of those guys. Maybe get like 6 or 7. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I don't know what goes into it, but interesting. The running back market seems kind of slow. What do you think of Kenyon Drake taking the deal to be presumably the backup for the Raiders?
Yeah,
I think he should play on a lot of teams. I thought he was going to go back to Miami, to be honest.
I could have seen that.
I
Yeah,
know different coaching staff and whatever from when he was there, but still, like I don't know.
it's no longer the QB guru.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting fit there. I mean, that's a good tandem with Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. If they're two like different styles, so they should work well together. But I don't know. Like I said, I would have taken someone like Kenyon Drake because he's a good runner. A little bit of a down year last year for fantasy owners. Everyone had a little bit too high hopes for him, but he's a good pass catcher and he's a good runner when he's healthy and all that. So he's a guy that I thought the Bills were going to take a look at, but I guess not. And now he goes to be probably like a third down receiving back in Vegas. And like I said, forms a good pairing with the Raiders in the backfield, but I don't know. Patrick Pearson, he signed to the Vikings yesterday. That was big.
Yes.
He got like 10 mil, which is going to be weird to see because he was with Arizona for 10, 12 years or so. He's been there a while. And then, like I said earlier, AJ Green leaving the Bengals for the Cardinals. That's also very interesting.
Cardinals are win now mode.
Yeah, they are. And you got Green, Hopkins, you got Christian Kirk. They're still waiting on an official decision from Larry Fitzgerald. You got Andy Isabella.
They got Rodney Hudson too.
Yeah, Rodney Hudson to play center.
Yep.
Yeah, they're obviously the J.J. Watt signing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they're making moves.
Yeah, they sure are. And they have good receivers. The only thing they really don't have now is a running back because Kenyon Drake's gone. And I believe Chase Evans is still a free agent as well. So I wonder if they try to bring him back or if they go out and get one of those guys that we're talking about, James Conner, Chris Carson. I don't know what their money situation's like, but it's kind of a hole there at running back right now. But you also have a quarterback who can run it very well. So when you have that,
That's
the
true.
running back position's not as it's still an important
Yeah,
position to
man.
have, but like your quarterback can be your leading rusher, and that'd be no problem. So,
Yeah, I mean, it happens with the Ravens all the time.
Yep. I mean, that's why the Bills were so, still good last year without really having a running back because obviously Josh Allen was able to do that. And that's just how that went. And that's, like I said, the Cardinals are a very similar team in that. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
Will be interesting. Still plenty of moves to be made.
Now, I'll ask you this question. I don't want to go in too much in depth into this because we really don't know. But the allegations against Watson, is that going to bring down his trade value? Is this a plot from the Texans to keep him? Like,
it's going to slow things down.
What do you think of this?
It's definitely going to slow things down for a while. But at the same time, if there is going to be a trade to be done, it's going to be before the draft. You'd have to think, because obviously with the picks that they'd want from said Dolphins or Jets being 2 and 3 in the order. It's good. So it's going to slow things down, and I just don't think he's going to be traded until everything's like settled, because I think that's just a risk to take, or it might just lower. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it could just lower the offer, and they'll figure it out. But I don't know. It's really tough to say. But I personally, I don't see a trade. I don't see a team trading for him until all those allegations are cleared or whatever. But at the same time, like I said, with the draft coming up, I think in 40 some days, you kind of are pressed for time. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You go either way.
Apparently, Schefter said too that teams and the teams who want to trade for him have not changed their stance, that they're still actively trying to pursue him regardless of what's going on right now. And yeah, that is, especially if you're going to give up what the Texans are going to ask you to give up for a guy who could be in a lot of trouble. That's very bold. You could be risking your future for a guy who might not play for you. So I don't know.
I guess we'll see how it plays out. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, that's what teams will do when they have a franchise guy at the helm. I mean, Jameis Winston had all those allegations against him, the Uber thing, and in college, the crab legs, and all that other stuff that he said. I mean, that was pretty much most of it, besides the other explicit thing that he said. But when teams know that they're going to get a franchise guy, I really don't think that kind of stuff matters to them. Because, I mean, he didn't have much of a market. Then he went to the Saints to be the backup. And, well, now he's going to be back as a starter. But, yeah, I don't really think it impacts teams' decisions in order to trade for a guy like that or not.
For sure. All right, well, we're going to take our first break here. And when we come back,
bracket time.
We're going to go over our brackets in depth. And, I don't know, just give what we think is going to happen. Maybe we'll have a perfect bracket in this room. I mean, maybe there'll
You never
be
know.
somewhere in the world for once, but could be right here. Could be one of us. So stay tuned. You're listening to the MJM Grand Sports Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. We'll be right back.
And we're back. Ryan, Justin, welcome. Thank you. All right, so let's just kick it off. Let's start in the top left
with the Western region, the Gonzaga region. Justin, I'm going to let you start it off. I guess just go through game by game. And then Ryan will go and I'll go, and then we'll just go region by region like that. So Justin, without further ado.
Okay, sounds good. I got number 1 Gonzaga over whoever wins between Norfolk State. So that one's a gimme, I feel like, but you never know because Virginia lost to 16 not too long ago. Next game, I got number 9 Missouri over number 8 Oklahoma. The fact that Devion Harmon being out with COVID played a large role in this. And Oklahoma, over the past few games, came off some losses. And it's 5 losses in the last 6 games for them, so it's not ideal coming into March. And Missouri put up some close games against some pretty good teams, played close against Arkansas, LSU, and Florida, and actually beat Florida. So LSU. So Missouri is coming up with a lot more momentum. Next game, I got an upset here with UCSB over Creighton. I just saw Creighton unraveling.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit the other day. They've kind of limping. They're coming in limping. So
interesting graphic on the screen. UCSB to the Sweet 16.
I wasn't even looking at the thing.
I like the boldness there.
I like that. I may also have that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like UCSB over Creighton there. Also mentioned on Tuesday that I really like Ohio, so I got that one over Virginia due to Virginia not being able to practice too much and maybe losing a few players due to COVID. Also, Jason Preston looks to hopefully be impressive in the tournament. Next one, I got number 6 USC over Wichita State or Drake. I think Evan Mobley should be able to help them get the win in that one, whichever team it might be. But we know Wichita State does have experience, so you never know. If they do win, then they could be able to upset USC there. Next one, I got Kansas over East Washington. Even though Kansas has been struggling with COVID, this should be a win for them because I think they have a pretty deep roster. Next one, I got Oregon over VCU. I do think VCU is a pretty good team, but Chris Duarte and Eugene Omoruri, I think his name is pronounced.
Jeez, you could have just made that up. I would have never known.
They both played great en route to the regular season Pac-12 title, even though they didn't win the actual conference because they lost in the tournament to Oregon State. But before that, they also won 6 straight games before losing the Pac-12 tournament. But, yeah, I really like VCU and their combination of defense and Bones Highland on the offensive end. But I just think Oregon wins that in a close matchup. And just the last one that it showed for this area was number 2 Iowa over Grand Canyon. I just think 2 versus 15, it should be a win for Iowa here with Luka Garza being one of the best high-scoring players in the nation. So that's mine for the West.
All right, well, now you got a second round. Here we go.
All right, so the second round. We got Gonzaga versus Missouri. I have Gonzaga pulling that one out. It's just the roster so deep there. And then we got the 12 versus the 13. UCSB versus Ohio, and I got Ohio pulling that one out. Then I got USC versus Kansas. And even though Kansas has been struggling with COVID, I'll give Kansas the win in that one. Then we got Oregon versus Iowa. I got Iowa taking that one. So then we got Gonzaga versus Ohio and Kansas versus Iowa. I have Gonzaga winning that one. They have such a great team this year. And Kansas versus Iowa. I got Kansas making it to the Elite 8. So I just think they have experience in this type of thing. They've been in March. They've been a great basketball program for how many years now? And
lots of years.
we have Gonzaga beating Kansas in the West.
Brian, guessing you have
Okay.
Gonzaga as well.
Yep.
That's it. Me too. So I'm gonna go. When it's my turn, I'm gonna go quick with the picks because, like I said,
Yeah, I'm going to try to be pretty
it'd be
quick overall.
It'd be a pretty big shock if Gonzaga's.
But I have Gonzaga, and then I have Oklahoma over Missouri. I have Creighton winning. Then my first upset, I have Ohio over Virginia. I feel like not practicing until the day of the game, and
that would be tough.
just I don't know, the 4-13. It's kind of like a 5-12. I just feel like there's lots of upsets to be had there, and I feel like Ohio's going to get them. And then I'm going to go with USC, Kansas, Oregon, VCU. I want to take VCU with the A10. I just feel like Oregon's going to be too much for them. So then I have Oregon and Iowa. Now we got the round of 32 in the West. Gonzaga's going to beat Oklahoma. Here's my first surprise. For a Sweet 16, Ohio's going to beat Creighton and advance to the Sweet 16. And then here's a dream matchup that I really want to see. USC is going to beat Kansas, and Iowa is going to beat Oregon, setting up the USC-Iowa Sweet 16 matchup, which I feel like is going to be a dandy. And then we have Gonzaga over Ohio, Iowa over USC. I feel like 1 and 2, it's tough, especially with March Madness, but I just feel like these two teams are better than everyone else. And then Gonzaga, it's going to be another tight game between the Zags and Iowa, but the Zags are just too much, and I have the Zags coming out of the West.
I think it'd be a huge shock, like I said, if it's not the Zags. But without further ado, yes, I have the Zags winning. I have Oklahoma in that 8-9 game. It could go either way. They do every year. I have UC Santa Barbara pulling off the upset over Creighton, and I have Ohio pulling off the upset over Virginia. Same reasoning you guys gave, not being able to practice.
Yep.
Justin Preston, all that. Ohio's just a good team. Coming in absolutely surging. They beat the 1 seed. They beat the 4 seed in their tournament. Then they beat the 1 seed Toledo and the 2 seed UV. So they went right through all the time. I mean, granted, it is the MAC, but they did what they had to do to get there, and they're coming in rolling. I got USC over Wichita State or Drake, either or. Kansas will win their first game. I have BCU, which I think I'm the only one, just because A10. And I don't know if you guys know about Nashawn Bones-Highland's story about the March Madness. 3 years ago, he was watching at his house and started on fire, and he lost 2 members of his family, and now it's his opportunity to play in it. And I just feel like he's just a man on a mission, and we know how good he is. He said it changed his life forever. I watched the whole thing on it today, and it fired me up. So I think VCU at least wins the first one, and then they will play Iowa. So we'll go back into the top. Gonzaga will beat Oklahoma. UC Santa Barbara will beat Ohio in the 12 versus 13. So I also do have UC Santa Barbara in the Sweet 16. I got USC beating Kansas. Don't think Kansas is that good of a team this year. Like I said the other day, they started off slow, got hot in the middle, kind of ended slow with the COVID issues. Everyone should be back when they play, but I think USC with Evan Mobley is going to win that game. So I also have the USC-Iowa matchup. Also have Iowa winning. I have Gonzaga winning. Gonzaga-Iowa will be a great game in the Elite Eight, but Gonzaga is just going to be too much for just about anyone, and they will come out of the West. So we'll go east now to see who we have Gonzaga playing. We'll start with you, Ryan.
Okay.
You can start us off. The Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan's going to win. And call me a homer. Our hometown Bonnies. I don't know why. It's just March Madness time, and I did not like LSU, the matchup at first. I said that Sunday, but I was talking to my grandmother earlier, and I said the closer we get, the more comfortable I get, and I feel like the Bonnies are going to be able to pull it off. So like the Bonnies over LSU. Then I like Georgetown over Colorado. Those 5-12 games are always sneaky. Yeah. Georgetown's coming in hot, and I feel like that's going to carry over. Florida State over UNC Greensboro. And then regardless of who wins tonight between Michigan State, UCLA, I feel like either one of those two teams are going to beat BYU.
Yeah, I think BYU's a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be Michigan State. But like you said, either way, I like it.
Then I have Texas, Maryland over UConn, and then Bama over Iona. We move to the round of 32 in the East. Unfortunately, Michigan will be too much for our Bonnies, and they will advance to the Sweet 16, where they will be taking on Florida State after Florida State defeats Georgetown and puts an end to their Cinderella run. Then we have Texas over Michigan State or UCLA, and Bama over Maryland, setting up an intriguing Sweet 16 matchup between Texas and Bama. And I feel if Livers plays, I think Michigan can win this game, but I just don't know how long Livers is going to be out, and I feel like it's going to hurt Michigan. So I have Florida State beating Michigan, and then Texas in a thriller is going to beat Bama. That's going to be high scoring up and down the court, setting up the Elite Eight in the East, the championship in the East between Florida State and Texas. And that game's going to go to Texas, setting up our first Final Four matchup between the Zags and Texas. That's my East prediction. Texas to win the East.
I like that. So for me, got Michigan winning. I personally think the LSU Tigers are going to be a little too much for our bodies, so I do have LSU winning that 8-9 matchup. But like I said, the 8-9 always goes either way. You know, they're pretty even throughout the year, so we'll see. I do have Colorado holding off Georgetown as hot as they are. I think Colorado advances. I have Florida State. And then like Ryan said, I think either Michigan State or UCLA will win against BYU. I think it will be Michigan State after they win tonight. So I'll have Michigan State / UCLA advancing. I have Texas. Also have Maryland, the 10 over the 7, UConn, and Alabama. Michigan over LSU, which I do think would be a good game, kind of a sneaky good game, especially with Livers out, like we said, for Michigan. Florida State, the 4 over 5 Colorado. Texas over for what is Michigan State for me. And then Alabama over Maryland, setting up the top 4, just as you had. I do have Florida State winning. I have Texas winning. I have Texas playing Florida State, and I have Texas going to the Final Four as well. So far, me and Ryan are right on par. We both got there, little bit different roads, but at the end of the day, we're in the same place. Justin, what do you got?
Good. I like yours as well. I also have Michigan over whoever they're going to play. I have LSU beating the Bonnies, unfortunately. I just think their offense is spectacular. Might be a little too much for us. And I have Colorado over Georgetown. I know a lot of people want to pick Georgetown because they're run. But seeing through the smoke and mirrors on that one, I think Colorado is a great team. And I got Florida State over UNC Greensboro, Michigan State, because I think they will win. And they're playing Drake, I believe. And UCLA. And I think they will win that and then defeat BYU. Also have Texas over Abilene Christian and UConn over Maryland. And also I have number 2 Alabama beating Iona. And for the next round of things, I actually have LSU upsetting Michigan here.
Wow.
Because I don't know if Livers, without him, how they're going to be able to answer. I don't know how healthy he's going to be, and if he's out for that game, then I think that LSU can pull that one off. So that's my big upset for that one. And 5 versus 4, Colorado versus FSU. I have Colorado actually pulling that one off.
Wow.
I'm pretty high in Colorado on this one, so I
Bob?
think they're a pretty fairly balanced team, but we'll see. And they're a great free throw shooting team.
Which is key in games like this, obviously. It seems like a cliche, simple thing to say, but it really does come down to free throws in these tournament games.
It does. Yep.
And Michigan State, I got them losing to Texas in the next round, and UConn losing to Alabama. So we got 8 versus 5, LSU versus Colorado, and 3 versus 2, Texas versus Alabama. And I got Colorado pulling that off against LSU and Texas beating Alabama. So Colorado v. Texas in the East. I have Texas pulling that out.
So we all ended in the same place. So far, we both got Gonzaga and Texas, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I like Bot's path to get there, though.
I do.
All right, I'll start us
Yeah,
with the Celtics.
why don't you start this stuff?
The Baylor Rima things. I have Baylor winning. North Carolina the 8 against Wisconsin the 9. I'm going to take North Carolina. A lot of people are saying to pick Winthrop. Colin Gillespie out for Villanova. I don't think it matters for this one at least. I have Villanova advancing as the 5. They will play Purdue after Purdue beats North Texas. Then you got Texas Tech over Utah State. I got Arkansas over Colgate. Virginia Tech over Florida. That's my only, that's my only quote-unquote upset in this conference, the 10 beating the 7. And then I'll take Ohio State over Oral Roberts. So that sets up
Okay.
Baylor UNC, which I think will be a very intriguing game, a 1 versus 8. I think Baylor pulls it out, slim margin. I thought about picking North Carolina because the way Baylor kind of lost. They played good against Oklahoma State, but they lost. So not that they're coming in limping or anything, but like we talked about, ever since the COVID thing, they haven't been the same team. But I think they figured out they will beat North Carolina. Purdue will beat Villanova. That's where Villanova will be tested. The 4 versus 5, and not having Gillespie out there will hurt them. Texas Tech will pull off the upset against Arkansas. Texas Tech's been 2 years ago was the last time we had this. Texas Tech was a good tournament team. We remember that. Obviously, the Jarrett Culver days. He's not there anymore, but Mac McClung is, and I think he's going to do something good. I got Ohio State over Virginia Tech, setting up Ohio State and Texas Tech. I'll take Ohio State. And then I got Purdue over Baylor in the Sweet 16. So I have Purdue in my Elite 8, taking on fellow Big Ten rival Ohio State, or Ohio State will come out on top, and Ohio State's going to go to the Final Four. That's my prediction.
Me and you are on
Same thing.
pace, it seems. So I have Baylor.
Hopefully you have Houston as your 4th Final Four team. I'm just kidding.
Baylor over Hartford. North Carolina over Wisconsin. And then I do think Nova's done. I got Winthrop over Nova. Purdue over North Texas. Texas Tech over Utah State. Arkansas over Colgate. Like you, I have Virginia Tech over Florida. And then I have Ohio State over Oral Roberts. Round of 32. Like you said, Baylor's going to get a tough contest from UNC, but it's not going to happen. Baylor's going to win. They're going to go to Sweet 16 where they will be taking on Purdue after Purdue beats Winthrop. And like you, I have Texas Tech in my Sweet 16. They're going to beat Arkansas, and Ohio State's going to beat Virginia Tech. And then I feel like, I don't know, unlike the other 1 seeds, I feel like Baylor's a little more susceptible, and Purdue's going to get them. They're going to go to the Elite 8, where they're going to take on Big Ten rival Ohio State in a rematch of the quarterfinal that went to overtime. That was a great game between those two. It's going to be another great game, but Ohio State's going to pull it out, and it's going to be Ohio State representing the South in the Final Four.
Right on par here.
Like that.
Justin?
All right, so I got Baylor over Hartford, UNC over Wisconsin. I do have Winthrop beating Villanova because of the loss of Gillespie. I also have Purdue over North Texas, Texas Tech over Utah State, Arkansas over Colgate, Virginia Tech over Florida, and Ohio State over Oral Roberts. Next round, we got Baylor versus North Carolina. I got Baylor pulling that one out. Winthrop versus Purdue. I had Purdue winning that one. Texas Tech versus Arkansas. I really like Arkansas in this matchup. Even though Texas Tech has the March success, I really like Arkansas. So I got them winning. Virginia Tech versus Ohio State. I got OSU winning. So we got Baylor, Purdue, Arkansas, Ohio State. And my bracket is looking a little different from your guys. And we like that because we don't like to all be the same.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Baylor versus Purdue. I do have Purdue winning that one, but I have Arkansas beating Ohio State there.
Wow.
And also Arkansas beating Purdue. So I have Arkansas.
Arkansas in the Final Four.
What did you say, producer sites? That's good work.
Oh,
He
no.
likes it.
I got to change it now.
I like
Just
that.
kidding.
That's
Interesting. I like it a lot.
All right, so we got Arkansas. Nice. And me and Ryan are still on par. Bob, we're just going to go right back to you and do the Midwest for us. A little bit of like snake draft style.
Yeah.
Again.
Okie dokie. We got Illinois over Drexel, Chicago over Georgia Tech, Tennessee over Oregon State, Oklahoma State over Liberty. I know a lot of people want to pick Liberty for the upset. I just really think Cade Cunningham is going to put on a performance there. Syracuse over San Diego State got the upset there. Jim Boeheim, he loves being the underdog, and in that situation, I think they pull that one out. West Virginia over Morehead State. Rutgers with the upset over Clemson. I just think Clemson's kind of limp into the finish towards the end of the year.
I don't think Clemson's good at all. I really don't.
Yeah, they're kind of a high seed for them, in my opinion. And also Houston over Cleveland State. And so for the next round here, we got 1 versus 8, Illinois versus Chicago. Loyola Chicago has had a history of the Cinderella runs, but they will not get past Illinois. Got Illinois winning that one. We got Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. My bad. So I got Tennessee pulling that one out. I think they got a great defense that can shut down Cade Cunningham. And 11 versus 3, Syracuse versus West Virginia. I got Syracuse pulling up another upset with Jim Boeheim doing his thing. And Rutgers versus Houston. I got Houston pulling that one out. So we got 1v5 and 11v2. We got Illinois beating Tennessee here and Houston beating Syracuse. So we got Illinois versus Houston for a trip to the Final Four, and I picked Illinois.
Nice. Okay. I also have Illinois beating Drexel. I have Loyola Chicago over Georgia Tech, Tennessee over Oregon State, Oklahoma State over Liberty. Also have Syracuse over San Diego State. I also have West Virginia over Morehead State. Rutgers, the 10 over 7 Clemson, and I have Houston. So I think me and Pod are the exact same right there.
Okay.
I have Illinois advancing. I do have Oklahoma State beating Tennessee, though, because I think Cade Cunningham alone is enough. Also have Syracuse beating West Virginia. Also have Houston beating Rutgers. Syracuse and Houston. It's gonna be a good game. Houston's gonna come on top. I have Syracuse in the lead the other day. Just changed it 30 minutes ago. That's where it ends for them. I have Illinois over Oklahoma State, and I have Illinois going to the Final Four after they defeat Houston. So my Final Four is, what is that? Ohio State, Illinois, Gonzaga, and Texas. 2 1s to 2 and 3.
Ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Illinois over Drexel. Georgia Tech over Loyola Chicago. Tennessee over Oregon State. Oklahoma State over Liberty. I, too, have Qs over San Diego State. West Virginia over Morehead State. I'm not a Clemson believer either. Rutgers over Clemson. And then Houston over Cleveland State. Here's where things get a little interesting towards the end of my bracket. Illinois is going to beat Georgia Tech. Oklahoma State is going to beat Tennessee, setting up that Sweet 16 matchup. I, too, have Syracuse beating West Virginia. It's Syracuse in March. I don't know. I'm getting that feeling, especially after watching the ACC tournament. I feel like their best basketball is ahead of them. Then I have Rutgers stunning Houston going to the Sweet 16. So now we have Illinois over Oklahoma State, and then we have 11 versus 10. 11 Syracuse versus 10 Rutgers. Hughes is going to keep moving on. They're going to go to the Elite Eight. And for the Midwest Championship, we have Illinois against Syracuse. That is where Syracuse's March Madness run will end, as the Fighting Illini will take care of the Midwest. We'll go on to the Final Four, as my Final Four matchups, like Matt, are Gonzaga, Texas, and Ohio State, Illinois.
You have Illinois? Change your mind too? Didn't you have Oklahoma State at one point?
I did, but I made a bracket earlier too, and this is my current thinking.
All right, so what are you guys? What's your final?
All right.
All right, so I have Illinois
You're playing who?
Illinois.
Over
versus
Gonzaga?
Gonzaga.
I have the same thing. I have Illinois over Gonzaga.
Now we have Gonzaga going to the. Excuse me, we don't. I'm sorry. Texas beating Gonzaga. Goodbye.
Oh,
The one loss is in the Final Four. Texas is going to get it done. And Ohio State, Illinois, going to be another close game like the Big Ten Championship. But the Illini are once again going to pull it off. And my championship game is set. It is Texas, Illinois. And the winner of that game is going to be the Texas Longhorns.
wow.
The Texas Longhorns are going to be taking home the NCAA tournament.
So on the line.
So at a line, says producer sides.
So we got 2 Illinois and a Texas. Like that. Texas Southern is up by 1 if that changes anyone's pick in the Michigan game. For me, I'm still good with Michigan as my
You just never know with 16s.
Wow. Okay. So it's 6:52. So instead of taking a second break, why don't we just get into our locks of the night here? And
We shall.
unfortunately, was unable to reach Chris.
Yes, actually, I like that. Producer sites put it up. Rangers thrash Flyers 9-0.
Oh yeah.
We could talk about that for a few. We got a few minutes.
I just think it's really cool that the Rangers beat the Flyers 9-0 with.
I just think it's hilarious. The AHL coaching staff.
The Rangers
I think it's cool that the Flyers lost by 9.
They just said
He thinks it's hilarious that the Flyers lost by 9. I, too, agree with
a
that.
lot of goals. Like,
And I feel like Rangers coach David Quinn, he might be on the hot seat after last night.
I would just switch the coaches.
I would too. It seems like the Rangers are – Mika's Zibanejad had his best game. He had a hat trick. I think he had
It's
3
6
assists
points.
too. Yeah, 6 points.
Sabres
I
tonight.
think Zibanejad finally had his game. Sabres against the Bruins with their new coaching staff tonight. The Sabres, that is.
Technically, Jeff Skinner's on the first line. I saw, but he's with Lazar and Middlestat, but they're listed as line 1. So, like, I don't – it's the same line mates, but, like, I don't know. But technically, Jeff Skinner's on the first line. That's what we wanted to see. So
That's
far,
true.
so good with this Don Granato interim coach. But I guess we'll see.
So tonight,
Sabres will get so.
I don't know, is that going to be a lock of the night thing? Or can I ask you if the Sabres are going to pull it off with their new coaching staff tonight?
They might play better, but, I mean, it's the Bruins.
No. Yeah, the Bruins are a tough matchup. But the Rangers did beat
First
them
time
the
playing
other
the
day.
Bruins all year, too. So, I don't know. Bruins need to – they need the wins that the Flyers, Capitals, and Penguins have been getting. Well, Penguins only played in twice too, but like the reason why the Capitals and Islanders are so successful this year is because they
True.
against the Sabres, they take care of business. Boston hasn't had their chance yet, so might get ugly. And they play again on Saturday with fans Saturday, so that's exciting.
Now, I have a question for you.
What's that?
Imagine being a Penguins fan. Oh, I don't know.
Golfs.
They do, but aren't their fans just like obnoxious and just weird in general?
Weird in general, yeah. Yeah.
I know a Pens fan. He's a bit out there, but
He's not yelling right now.
there he is. He's
Oh,
posting a
that's-
Stanley Cups. There he is.
Lot to be proud of right
He's a
there.
proud Penguins fan that producer cites.
Locks of the night, and then we got a big Cornwall game, so.
Locks of the night, yes, sir.
I was unable to reach Chrissy, partly because I forgot to ask him for his locks. So Chris is gonna set this one out. He did go 2-0 the other day. I'm gonna get real bold here. The Detroit Red Wings tonight, lock against Dallas. Just feel weird about it. They're only
Okay.
165. They're gonna win the game. And then I really like Michigan State -2 against UCLA in that game. I think Michigan State beats them by 8-10. But I'll just take the 2. So those are my 2. I think I was 1-1 the other night. I'm now tied for first with Ryan McSpedden after he went. Oh, you were 0-2, right?
I was 0-2.
Because we're both 13-11. Chrissy is 11-9, and Bot's at 10-10. So, like, as a group, we're doing pretty good. We're up. So, I mean, it's not good for quote unquote locks, but yeah, it's decent.
It's plus, you know. That's all that
Plus is
matters.
plus.
Plus is plus.
Texas Southern's really pulling away here. Throw 5.
Yes.
Oh, and another up 8. No, we missed. Sorry.
Now, I guess I'll go since I had a terrible night last time. Well, I went against the Knicks on Tuesday. They were 7-point underdogs against Philly. And that's all right. I would have been fine with it. The Knicks were up 9 points in the fourth quarter. But they lost, and they couldn't lose by 7. They had to lose by 3, so double whammy. The Knicks have one healthy point guard right now, and his name is not Emmanuel Quickley. It's not Derrick Rose.
Frankie.
It's not even Alfred Payton. It's Frank Ntilikina. That's a recipe for disaster, and
He was
a downward spiral could be happening these next few days. Knicks are favored by 4.5 tonight at home. And even though I'm a Knicks fan, I just don't like that line. I feel like the Magic win tonight. So even if the Knicks win, I just don't think it's going to be 4.5. It's going to be a nail biter. So I'll take the Magic to cover the plus 4.5. And should I stick with hockey? I guess I will. I'm going to go with Florida at home over Nashville.
like it. Like it.
Good stuff. Good stuff there. All right, I'm also sticking with hockey for both of mine. So I got Anaheim Ducks money line tonight. I know they not a very good team, but
Hey, the Red Wings, but look at me.
yeah, look at us. Yeah, I'm feeling them tonight. Going up against Arizona. Arizona not a great team either, but we'll see what happens. And I also have the under Jets at Oilers. It's set to 6.5.
Like it. Well, we'll be back on Tuesday. Oh, their sites. Sorry, it's 4-3. He also has Michigan State -2 and Bruins puck line.
Bruins, whoa.
Nice. I like those. I like those both. We'll be back on Tuesday to revisit these picks and see how we did in our first round of the bracket, I guess.
And will we be talking about Bonnie's in the Sweet 16? I highly doubt it, but
Maybe.
never know.
Who knows? We'll see, though. We'll see. Crazier things have happened. Thank you guys for listening. MJM Grand Sports Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Go Bonnies.